What's up everyone, I'm your host Asurai and welcome back to Wild Rift Meta Check. In this series, we're digging into how League of Legends went off the grid and in the process spawned the entirely new esport Wild Rift. To the casual viewer, Wild Rift might seem like the same game as its PC counterpart, League of Legends. While the games share many similarities, there are some key differences that make the two games very unique. And as we've seen in some regional tournaments, those differences completely change the strategy summoners used in dominating Wild Rift. In this episode, we're exploring the changes that make neutral objectives unique in Wild Rift Esports. Like we talked about in our last episode, Wild Rift has a much faster pace than League of Legends. This is in part because the neutral objective spawn timers have been kicked up a notch. Dragon and Rift Herald spawn at 4 minutes, while Baron spawns at 13 minutes, all much faster than their PC doppelgangers. The respawn timers are also insanely fast, 4 minutes for Rift Herald and Dragons, while 3.5 minutes for the Baron. Just because objectives spawn quicker doesn't always mean they're more valuable. Like in League of Legends, objectives sometimes stay on the map for a very long time while players focus on their lane instead. To counter this, Wild Rift objective buffs are much more powerful. Infernal Dragon gives a 6% damage buff, while Cloud Dragon gives 6% move speed that doubles out of combat, Ocean Dragon gives an 8% Omnivamp, and Mountain Dragon gives an out of combat shield. Overall, the normal dragons in Wild Rift are much more comparable to the Dragon Souls in League of Legends. While the Baron buff remains similar to League's, minions spawn faster and there are multiple cannon minions every other wave, making the minion empowerment incredibly strong. So when objectives spawn in Wild Rift, it's a game-changing event unlike PC League. To give some more info on how players think about neutral objectives, let me give the spotlight to our high ELO correspondent, the 1%er, nay, the 0.1%er, Hellsdevil. How's it going, man?
Come on, Azra, you can't talk about neutral objectives without mentioning vision. Even though it's just as important to set up vision around objectives in Wild Rift as it is in PC League, there are some differences. Because in Wild Rift, you do not have support warding items and you do not have a control ward. So in Wild Rift, basically everyone has to put vision around and everyone has the same job compared to League of Legends where just the support has to do it. So let's take a look at Team Queso in this clip right here. We can clearly see Team Queso absolutely dominating the red side jungle by just completely sweeping out the vision and sending over 3 enemies to the bush in case they can catch out an enemy, and Riggs doesn't even want to take the fight right here. They're giving away the dragon for free, which is very rare to see in Wild Rift. Another really subtle difference is in the sweeper. In PC League, you have around a second to still see what's going on with your wards, even though the enemy is using their sweeper. In Wild Rift, you do not. If the enemy is using a sweeper, you have no way of seeing what's happening unless you use your actual champion abilities. So while it might seem subtle, it's actually a pretty big difference because stealing objectives is much more difficult in Wild Rift because of this. Even though you talk about objectives, you do have to mention vision, Asurai.
While the objectives are raising the intensity level on the Rift, they're not the only difference in strategy we're going to be seeing in Wild Rift Esports. What other meta shifts will arise as Wild Rift continues to evolve? Let us know in the comments and come back for more on strategies and trajectories for Wild Rift in the esports world.
Yeah guys, put down some tips, he's gonna need it.